All right, let's talk about Experian Boost files and why they're making a major comeback. If you've been following the network for a while, you already know what these files can do. For those who are new, let me break it down for you. An Experian Boost file is a same-day CPN that comes with a credit score already built into it. We're talking about a usable score within 24 to 48 hours of the file being created. This isn't something you have to wait weeks or months for. The score is there almost immediately, which means you can start getting approvals right away. Now, let me take you back to the results we were getting in the past. When we first started doing Experian Boost files, the approvals were incredible. People were getting approved for credit cards, phone accounts, and financing with scores that were built overnight. The files were working because they had enough activity to look legitimate to the credit bureaus. But here's the thing, back then we were doing minimal public records. We would add just enough to get the file started and hope for the best. And honestly, it worked for a while. People were getting approved left and right, but the game has changed. Lenders and credit bureaus have gotten smarter. They're looking for more than just a score. They want to see depth, they want to see history, they want to see that the person behind the file actually exists in the real world. That's why we've upgraded our process. Now, instead of doing the bare minimum, we're focusing on building at least 100 public records onto every file. This means your file doesn't just have a score, it has a story. It has employment history from job sites, it has insurance inquiries, it has utility records, it has volunteer signups, it has government database entries, it has everything a real person would have accumulated over years of living their life. When lenders pull your file and see all of this activity, they're not questioning whether you're real. They're seeing a complete profile that checks every box. And the results speak for themselves. The approvals we're getting now are even better than what we were getting before. Higher limits, faster approvals, fewer denials. The public records make all the difference. On screen right now, you can see some examples of the boost scores we've achieved with these files. These are real results from real files that went through our process. You can see the scores and the activity that made those scores possible. This is what happens when you combine a same-day score with deep public records. You get a file that's ready to work from day one. Now, I always believe it's important for you to understand how the process works. When you know what's happening behind the scenes, you're not left in the dark wondering what's going on. You understand what your file needs to succeed, and that knowledge helps you get better results when it's time to use the file for approval. So let me walk you through the old method of creating these files so you can see exactly what goes into building a same-day CPN. First, you start with the prep work. You need to write down the name and date of birth you're going to use for the file. Then you go to Zillow and find an address. The best addresses are houses for sale over $200,000 because they make the profile look stronger. Write that address down. Next, you need a social security number. The SSN should start with one of these prefixes: 79189, 76687, 67285, or 54570. After that, create a dedicated email for the file. If you need multiple emails, you can grab bulk Gmail accounts from useviral.com. Now, download the DuckDuckGo browser for privacy and turn on your VPN to keep your IP address fresh. You also need a bank account that shows at least 3 months of paid bills. This adds credibility to the file and makes it look like a real person with financial history. Once your prep work is done, you move into the application steps. Step 1 is applying to Citibank. Use the first name from your CPN file and the last name from your bank log. Remember that bank log last name because it's critical for this step to work properly. Step 2 is applying for the Capital One Base Pro Card. Use the full first and last name from your CPN file. Step 3 is applying at clarityservices.com. Again, use the full first and last name from your CPN file. Step 4 is where you open the Experian account, go to annualcreditreport.com, click on Get Your Report, and enter the CPN's information, including the name, date of birth, social security number, and address. Now here's an important trick for the zip code. Go to tools.usps.com/zip-code-lookup. Find the full 9-digit zip code for your address. For example, if it's 442155211, you need those last 4 digits, which would be 5211. Enter those last 4 digits into the zip code box on the annual credit report site, skip the second address line, and click Next. When it asks which credit bureau you want to view, choose Experian. You'll be asked for an email and a phone number. Use the email you created earlier. For the phone number, go to textverified.com and get a free temporary US number. Enter that number to receive the verification text. Once you get to the security questions, use those last 4 digits of the zip code to answer them. This is how you pass the verification. After that, you're in. You now have access to the file, and you can start building from there. Now that the file exists, the next step is adding public records. This is where the real magic happens. Public records aren't just some abstract idea. They are actual entries in databases that prove your file belongs to a real person. Let me walk you through the types of public records we add to make the file bulletproof. First, we create employment profiles on job sites like Indeed, LinkedIn, and Glassdoor. We use the CPN name, address, and a realistic job title like sales associate or customer service representative. We add a resume with plausible work history and enable job alerts so it looks like the person is actively job hunting. Next, we hit the transportation databases. We go to the state's Department of Transportation website or the FMCSA clearinghouse and input the CPN ID number when prompted for a CDL number. It might say invalid at first, but we keep trying until it goes through. Some states have practice tests and pre qualification forms that we fill out as well. Then we do soft pulls for credit cards and loans. We pre qualify on Capital One, Discover, and Rocket Mortgage using the CPN information. These are soft pulls, so they don't hurt the file, but they do add activity. We do this weekly for about 4 weeks to populate the file with consistent activity. We also sign up for cruise line accounts on Carnival and Royal Caribbean. No need to book a cruise. Just creating the account adds to the file's footprint. Volunteering is another layer we add. We sign up on Volunteer Match and AmeriCorps using the CPN information. Even if no volunteer work is completed, the sign up itself creates a record. For medical and government records, we sign up to be a test subject on Science 37, complete census surveys on census.gov, and create a login.gov account. These entries ensure the CPN shows up in government and medical databases. Insurance records are important too. We sign up for renter's insurance on Lemonade using the last 4 digits of the SSN. We also sign up for auto insurance quotes on Geico and Progressive using the same last 4 digits. There's also the shopping cart trick. We go to Victoria's Secret and add over $400 worth of items to the cart. When they ask for the SSN, we only enter the last 4 digits. Sometimes this results in a credit line without a hard pull. We repeat this every 2 weeks. For education records, we create an account on the College Board but don't sign up for any classes. This generates informational emails and letters from colleges, which further populates the file. We also add financial activity by signing up for prepaid debit cards at NetSpend and Green Dot and prepaid phone plans at Metro PCS and Visible. All of these use the CPN information and the last 4 digits of the SSN. Utility accounts are another layer. We contact local utility providers in the city we're using for the CPN and request to set up accounts. Some utility companies have pre-qualification forms that we fill out. Finally, we add community engagement records like library cards and gym memberships, all using the CPN information. When all of this is done, the file has over 100 public records attached to it. It looks like a real person who has lived, worked, applied for jobs, traveled, volunteered, paid bills, and engaged with their community. This is what makes the file strong. This is what gets approvals. So when you get an Experian Boost file from the network, you're not just getting a score. You're getting a complete file with depth and history that can stand up to scrutiny. If you've been waiting for the right time to get started, this is it. We are now opening slots back up for Experian Boost files. The process is refined. The public records are deeper than ever. The results are better than what we were getting before. If you're interested in getting your own Experian Boost file, reach out to me directly through Discord, whether you call it an Experian Boost file or a same-day CPN. It's the same thing. You're getting a file with a score built in within 24 to 48 hours, backed by at least 100 public records to maximize your approval chances. The link to Discord is in the bio. Send me a message and let's get your file started. This is the network, and we're back in full effect.